Well, it's one of our favorite times of the week. It's time for Your Money, and joining us today in the studio is our friend Colin Evans with Evans Financial. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, so we are talking about something where, okay, give you an example. You're retired and then go back to work again. It's actually pretty common, would you say?
It's more common than people think, and we put this together just for here maybe a couple things financially that you need to think about, but there's also it's kind of has its pros and its cons to go with it. But one of the first things that we really want people to think about, it's like you've got rising costs, lifespan is running longer. What about your desire for purpose or inclusion and those types of things, and you go into this retirement time, is delaying withdrawals possibly, or continued contributions and your social connections. So what we're talking about in this is when you're delaying that retirement time, or maybe picking up, a side job or a gig or something like that, that is the opportunity where you can delay, withdrawals. If I'm going to kind of really extend retirement with knowing that we live longer in our life. Healthcare has gotten better. People are a little bit more concerned with what we're putting in our bodies. It's even great that we're seeing now, even with our governments actually trying to get rid of some things that are helping us to live a little bit longer. So some of these things can actually help stretch that nest egg a little bit longer. But one of the things that really people need to be looking out for is, how does going back to work affect Social Security and Medicare premiums? So these are things that it actually can have an effect on, of possibly hitting some brackets that might cause those Medicare premiums to go up, or could actually have a reduction of Social Security and the benefits that you're taking home. The big one, though, and this is really the ones that we kind of have seen, is that it might not be the dream that you expected, or it's like, hey, I'm off of work and I'm no longer doing anything, but some people lose like their schedule, the routine,
or I'm bored.
and they just get bored, and that's okay. There's actually nothing wrong with going back into the working world, or even I'm showing up to volunteer, or finding my favorite charity that I want to be involved in, and really showing that passion and just giving back out and being a part of community, because it gives us that sense of purpose, and we feel good inside and in our heart. And
like you mentioned, the guy who retired, we were talking off air, retired, and then 2 weeks later started working at Home Depot. And
he sure did, and his son and I knew each other a long time ago, and it was funny, growing up, he was always a woodworker, and just hearing that, and he said, I went back to work. He was like, but you just retired 2 weeks ago. And he said, well, I got a part-time gig at Home Depot, and it automatically, I knew immediately, I was like, oh, you have been a woodworker your whole life, and that's a passion. That's great. And it was, the funniest part was, he was really excited about the discounts. He's like, I get discounts on the stuff that I'm buying. I'm like, that's great. Well, one of the last things we really want people also to pay attention to is, if you're earning income and taking those requirement minimum distributions, you've got to be sensitive to, can this possibly bump me into another tax bracket? That is a potential thing that is out there. And want to keep in mind that this retirement is not the end of the road or the finish line. This is really your opportunity to choose what is next. And that is a beautiful thing to have. It's like, hey, I did my retiring, I did all my working, now I'm going, let's live off this next egg. What do we want to do? And that is a great question. We get to sit with people and we ask them, it's like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I love that you said the freedom to choose. So that's important, and they can maybe choose to work with you as well. So how do they do that? Absolutely,
we would absolutely love that opportunity. You can check us out at info@evansfinancial.com as an email, or on the web, evansfinancial.com.
All right, thanks, Colin. Now we'll go to Patrick.